Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. In today's video, we're going to be running the Union Pacific Lego train around a track underneath our main Lego table. I'm finishing up the last of the Mills corner modules on top of the table, so getting really close to being able to run trains around the full layout again. So you'll be able to see that happening really soon. But in the meantime, I wanted to test a couple things out here. I want to have a more elaborate sort of table and train track layout underneath the main table in the future. So I wanted to get a feel for what that would be like. And this was also an opportunity for me to start working a bit on cleaning up some of the space under the table to make that future project viable. And I've also got an upcoming train show where I'll be running some of my trains and taking some of the modules that we have, the Mills modules, to the show. So I wanted to just do a couple of test runs with some of the different trains that I might take and see how they're performing and make sure everything's good. This is probably the last time for a while that you'll see the Union Pacific with this KD coupler here between the A and B units. I'm going to switch back to magnets here, and all of the other couplers will stay as the KD couplers. But this one just doesn't look good at the moment with the amount of space that it leaves between the A and B units here. So switch that back to magnets probably after I film this video here. So this is the last time you'll see that for now. And then in the future, I'll look at ways to make that, look nicer. Lots of different possibilities. Maybe extending out the A unit a bit or making some changes to the under portion of the locomotive there so the coupler can be set back a little farther just to close that gap up. But that's kind of where we're at. And without further ado, let's run this train around our test track layout here. This is definitely one of my favorite trains at the moment in my collection. Really happy with how it looks and how it runs as well. I think the color combination with the yellow, the red, and the gray looks really awesome, and I'm happy with how that came together. And the decals add a lot to it as well. And it just works really well, really consistent and reliable. So quite happy with that. And it's definitely one of my go-to trains when I take it to shows, because it looks great and runs really well also. So happy with how that's going. And you can see when it comes to the distance between cars, those KD couplers from Brick Model Railroader really work well for all the other car connections, but it's just that between the A and B units, there's just not enough space really there for it to, for those couplers to be offset far enough back for the gap to be, a reasonable distance. So it ends up just being just a little too far, in my opinion, too far apart. One thing I definitely noticed from having this test loop of track here underneath the Lego tables is just how much space these wide radius curves take up when you're doing track layout. I think I would use the wide radius turns underneath the main Lego table as well, just because of the types of trains that I like to be able to run. And we're just going to be adding more of the large scale locomotives and train cars in general to our collection. So we really do need to sort of provide the capability for them to run around both the main layout and this sort of secondary track that we will be building down here. So definitely want to account for that, and we'll just need to, make whatever adjustments are needed for fitting all the track that we want and fitting these large curves into the under table layout. So definitely happy with how the Union Pacific train is running. As I mentioned, I'm going to swap out those that one set of couplers there for the magnetic couplers. And then really just going to be a battery top up, and this train will be ready to get packed up to go to the train show, but really happy with how it's performing here. Really overall, the only thing this particular train is probably missing at this point is some lights. You could definitely see some lights being added in the future to each of the train cars. There's a lot of great windows spread throughout the train, which would make lights quite effective in a low light situation. So that's something that I would like to consider going forward. The only trick will be, I don't think these the roof parts of these particular train cars are very easy to sort of take on and off for toggling lights, but definitely a project that I would like to sort of consider and undertake at some point in the future. But in terms of right now and getting this train ready for the train show in a couple weeks, really happy with where it's at, and definitely fun to have a track loop here under the main Lego table. As I mentioned, getting quite close to being able to run trains on the main tabletop surface. Just need to finish up those last corner modules, but we've got all the parts in hand and working through getting those all finalized. So hopefully in the near future, you'll see some videos from the top of the Lego table here as we start to run trains around the main track loops in the near future. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of our upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.